What? Okay, because I put in the article when I read it at first. The only thing I know about the amateurs, okay, Caleb's from Luttrell's, Ozzy's from Fit, and then as soon as I put that, Arlene messages me take that off. I was like,
he dropped, man. He got knocked on the heat.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Had a safe and happy holidays, a happy new year. Yep, it's happening again. Cage Minds takeover of Red Menace TV. We still have Carlisle recovering from his trip to Vegas that got extended out to California. Yeah, we'll cover how that happened. Leroy, he enjoyed New Year's a little bit much. So I'm here again. We're going to be talking about MMA, and we have a lot to cover this week. You had UFC 229. We also had the PFL finals, then had an event to close out the New Year's. We have updates on what's happening at the beginning of this year locally, not to mention the Cage Minds 2018 awards. We'll go over a little bit of that. But to get started today, the first event of 2019 in the Mexican sports scene is going to be at the Route 66 Casino on January 25th. You can see the event on Act TV. Legacy Fight Alliance is going to be here in the Land of Enchantment for the first time, LFA 58. And joining me now to talk about being a part of that card, just once again, is Sherwin Price. Sherwin, thanks for being back, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
LFA, a big opportunity, kicking off the year. How excited are you to have a fight in January? I know that's something, being able to be active.
Yeah, I'm really happy that I had such a quick turnaround. I really didn't really get damaged too much my last fight, so it was kind of just training as usual right after the fight. And I'm glad it's with LFA, you know, a little bit more exposure, you know, actual TV time. So I mean, that should be nice.
Right? Does it feel like progression? It's a step in the right direction.
It does feel like it's progression. It feels like I'm moving in the direction I should be, which is fantastic. You know, fighting more accomplished, you know, competition, and you know, just testing my skill further.
Talking about the last fight, though, you did mention that a moment ago. Unsuccessful in defending the King of the Cage. What kind of lesson was learned from facing Nick Angioli at Starbound 2?
Lessons learned, you know, scrambling off the cage, being more proactive when somebody is pinning me against the cage, I think is something I learned. You know, I didn't think the fight went too bad. I think there was a lot of things that I was able to show. More of my stand-up, I got to show a little bit more of that. Actually got to hit somebody standing up, which is fantastic, rather than just submitting them right away. Testing my skill against somebody that had a really high-level jiu-jitsu background was another thing too. A couple times he had me in a rear naked choke. He couldn't complete it, which was something I learned about myself. But you know, other than that, just kind of, you know, moving past it and growing from that experience.
I don't know if you listened to the interview I was able to do with Nick after the fight. I said it's peculiar during the fight that he really never opened up with any strikes on the ground, and he gave all that credit to you, said that every time he felt like he'd let go of his control, that you were squirming to a position where he felt like controlling to go for a submission was his only option.
Yeah, he was a heavy guy. He was heavy and strong. I felt like that was it. He was controlling me on the ground. I didn't really get much. I mean, the guy is a strong guy. You know, he's a lot stronger than I thought him to be. I have to kind of learn and adapt to also. So.
Not wanting to run away from a weight class from one bad experience, but kind of happening to 155 now instead of 160.
Yeah, 160 it wasn't really even a weight cut for me. It was kind of just showing up to weigh-ins. 155 is where I've had the most success. Up to 160 belt, so it wasn't anywhere that we planned on staying to begin with. It was a good experience. I think 155, maybe in the future even lower than that. It might be where I'm at, but 155 I feel pretty strong.
Now there were some positives again. You landed some heavy strikes. There were a couple times where you connected clean, and I also remember the interview I did with Nick. He said, "Oh no, there were some flashes of white. He landed square a couple times." What positives do you take away from it?
Just that. Me and Arlene Sanchez at Fit. We work a lot on striking, boxing, being able to evade his punches while hitting him, as flush as I was hitting him, was a really something that we've been working on, and something that I feel like that we accomplished during that fight. And just being aware of those aspects a little bit were some things that I really learned. Understanding where my head is, 5-round fight. Getting the crap choked out of you and not, going to the place of giving up, I think is another thing, just having that heart and pushing through that. There's a couple of times where he had me pretty tight around the neck. So understanding that I do have that ability, that I'm not very apt to just quitting, which is a good thing.
5 rounds, hard grappling. Was that a mental hurdle cleared?
Yeah, I don't feel like my cardio is really lacking too much. But going 5 rounds for the first time, fighting for 25 minutes is a completely different ball game than 3 minutes of 5 rounds or 3 rounds of 5 minutes. So no, being able to get over that hurdle, you don't get any longer than that. So
what's the process in the fight as each round's going by? What are you thinking as the rounds are going by? Man, quick finish, quick finish, quick finish. This was a grueling one.
I don't know if it was any other thought process than just trying to, stick to my game plan. Just adjusting along. There was a period in the fight where I got poked in my eye pretty significantly, and so trying to overcome that, making sure that I'm maintaining distance, because he was timing my punches and getting up under me. So trying to keep him from pinning me. I think as the fight went along was what I was focused on. Trying to keep him off my back was another thing. But it wasn't really anything else. The fight was gonna be what it is. I kind of expect to get a little tired.
So how did you walk away from that fight feeling? I know that for you, challenging yourself is the biggest part of this martial arts journey. How'd you walk away from that one feeling?
That fight was a little frustrating in that I felt like I landed some pretty significant strikes on him. I think he did control me for a significant part. I walked away with that fight with a lot of just knowledge about my fight game, some improvements I need to make in just a fight IQ. I feel like there were some instances in that fight where if I wouldn't have let him touch me, I probably would have won it. It would have been just a different outcome. So, learning from those, understanding that you can't win them all, and just reflecting on my spirit overall. I think there's periods in time where you could give up. He was choking me pretty significantly, and I felt like it would have been easy for most people to give up, but I fought through it. So, just understanding that about myself, realizing that I can fight for 25 minutes, take punches, get taken down, get back up, and keep going. So.
Was the size difference? He was a bigger guy. Was that a little bit shocking from the way into the fight? How big, or was there anything that caught you off guard?
I think just his strength overall. He didn't seem like he would be that strong. But I could most definitely feel his weight when I was against the cage, and when he was on top of me, he was significantly stronger than I thought he was going to be. Other than that, I didn't really notice too much of a, increase in size as we went from weigh-ins to the day before. He already seemed bigger than me at weigh-ins, that seems typical. He was actually shorter than the last guy I fought, so significantly shorter than the last guy I fought. So it's just something, you know, it was what it was. It wasn't anything different. I didn't feel anything different.
Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, you always have fun. I mean, if you're not having fun doing this, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. I mean,
So all in all, it was what it was. It was an experience. Now we move on. I know you guys wrestle there basically 5 days a week. So is there anything other that you're adjusting to fill up some of those holes that you felt?
yeah, just being able to scramble a little bit more, get off the cage, being more reactive when people actually pin me against the cage. I think it's a lot easier to get somebody off of you when you're on the cage immediately rather than letting them set their weight on you. So understanding those aspects, you know, still striking, focus a lot on striking, getting my boxing a little bit more crisp, and just mixing it all together, I think is where we're going right now. So, I mean, nothing super specific, but just all in all, you know, just growth in my game overall. So.
And next up is Flavian Pilgrim. I can't wait for this fight. I mean, you look at both of your guys' records, very similar. I believe actually both 4-1, and both have most of their victories by submission. But here's the caveat. Neither one of these guys is a wrestler. Neither one of you actively looks to take it to the ground, really. I think it's more setting it up by strikes that it ends up on the ground. What do you expect out of this matchup?
You know, I would expect that we do some striking. I would hope that we do some striking. It might end up on the ground, but you know, I kind of come into any fight with the expectation that somebody's ready to fight, you know, or they wouldn't be there. So I'm just expecting to go to war the same way I would any other fight. So
The camp, back-to-back camps almost, a little bit of time to enjoy the holidays. How nice was this lining up just time-wise?
It's fine. So I don't really ever take breaks. I mean, it might take a day or two here or there to let my body recoup. But I mean, this is a constant thing for me. This is what I do with myself outside of work and, you know, life. This is what I do. So when I get off of work, I'm straight in the gym. On the weekends, I'm in the gym. I don't feel fulfilled in my day unless I complete this task. So it's you know, I was training literally the second day, you know, that Tuesday of that week. So it really wasn't any break. We trained during the holidays. I trained on Christmas Eve. I trained on New Year's Eve. It's just a constant thing. So I don't really see it as a camp. I see this as a continuous, you know, opportunity to grow.
How do you take advantage of this opportunity you have January 25th?
You know, I just have to go out there and show all of my skills, mix them together, rather than one or the other. You know, and actually show everybody how dominant I can be.
It's the beginning of the year. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
We don't make resolutions, we just make goals.
Goals then for 2019?
Just to be the best person I can, you know, continue to do this, continue to, you know, be the best father I can, and, you know, grow into a complete martial artist.
This card is going to be stacked January 25th, Route 66 Casino, LFA 58. The main card features 7 fighters that are New Mexico headliners. This is a stacked night of fights that you're not going to want to miss. And we're going to be back with more of the Cage Minds takeover of Red Menace TV in just a moment.
Going to kick it out to the wing, up and underneath.
Oh,
That's
beauty.
a tough.
What you're trying to do, but
Oh, nice
Wow.
step there by Ahmedzad.
Here's White, puts on the deck, spins on Haywood, floats in and one. A blocking foul. What? Harder scoreless for Gallen. There's another steal. Here comes Scholander in transition off the window. It's gonna count. She beats the buzzer.
lost it, so it's still in play. 3 seconds to go, and Nidafin does get the steal. Has to beat the buzzer, does, and he hits! So Johnny Nid. Gonna get a steal here, look out. Patterson all the way. Dishes, and it was turned over. And quickly out in front, look at this, it's Patterson gonna go all the way.
Now he blows by his man. Up top and down hard. The no-look alley-oop to...
And you got a foul now. Ulibarri hands it off to Nidafin. He had lost it. Here comes Patterson 10 seconds ago. All the way. And the Rams lead. Quick outlet. Nidafin, can he get it? He saves it with 3 seconds to go. Ulibarri for the win.
On tap here. Lovato gets the steal. Now he'll get it back. On the run out, the lob up top. Send it in, JB.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
At Gala Chevrolet, our master technicians service every make and model no matter where you purchase your vehicle. But that's not all. We also provide certified service on every GM model. So if your car's been acting a little funny lately or something just doesn't seem right, don't wait. Bring it in to the most modern service facility in the entire state and let us make sure that you're driving a vehicle you and your family can depend on. Service done right the first time, every time, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters! It's like it never happened!
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. Menace. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club, or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Well, we spent the last segment, our first segment, talking about what to look forward to and talking with Sherwin Price about that LFA 58 event. I promise you, before that event comes, we're going to have many more guests involved with that event, as we have a lot of local action coming up, a big year planned. But we can't get too far ahead of ourselves because there were still some events that closed out 2018. The UFC last week was in Las Vegas. Oh, wait, no. On 6 days' notice, UFC 232 was moved from Las Vegas, Nevada to Inglewood, California in the forum due to sanctioning issues with John Jones's license to fight getting approved in Las Vegas after some abnormal findings in his drug tests. Now, I guess it was a minute amount of the same substance that he had tested positive for previously that led to his elongated suspension. It's now basically the USADA standpoint that that chemical is still lying dormant in Jones's system, and that when these tests did show this abnormal reading, it was from that previous usage or that previous ingestion of that illegal banned substance. All of that means that the fighters lost money, and everybody, including Michael Carlisle, had to travel an extra 4 hours from Las Vegas to LA, but the show did go on. Unfortunately for us New Mexico fans, there wasn't a great deal to cheer about on the night, as our guest from a couple weeks ago, Sierra Bahadurzada, was not able to close the distance enough. He did get some takedowns, won one round on the judges' scorecards, but was defeated by Curtis Millender. Bavon Lewis, who we've had on before, still a bright prospect, dominated Uriah Hall for 2 rounds, got careless and lackadaisical with his defense, and ate a right hand, getting stopped in the 3rd round. Uriah Hall, another spectacular finish. The legend BJ Penn gets caught in a heel hook. Andre Arlovsky loses a decision looking gun-shy. So the people that trained here and the people that formerly trained here, not the greatest of nights, including Carlos Condit getting submitted with a Kimura. That's where his arm was nearly put way the wrong way, raising your hand, the reverse portion. A devastating submission loss against Michael Chiesa. We get to the co-main event, and I'm kind of shocked it happened, but it happened. Amanda Nunes knocks out Cyborg. Cyborg gets careless, reckless, comes out brawling, throwing wide looping shots. While Nunes kept it tight, technical, coming straight down the pipe, found the chin at least 4 times, cleanly putting Cyborg out. A right hook did it the last time and sent Cyborg face planting. Now the women's MMA GOAT, Amanda Nunes, she's taken out Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, and this huge surprising win over Cyborg, leading her to be 2018 Cage Minds Female Mixed Martial Artist of the Year. Definitely deserved with the title defense and the big victory over Cyborg. We now have our first simultaneous women's champion in UFC history. We also then would move up to see who would be crowned light heavyweight champion. John Jones, Alexander Gustafsson. As predicted, it was a slow start for both guys. That year and a half of ring rust. Jones then went on the offensive, attacking and disabling Gustafsson's front leg, dropping down for a takedown in the 3rd round, putting Gustafsson on his back, moving from half guard to side control. Gustafsson would then feel the pressure coming, would look to escape, giving his back up. John Jones would flatten, would trap Gustafsson's arm under his body, and 9 ground and pound shots later, John Jones is once again UFC light heavyweight champion. What's next for John Jones? He says he'd like an active 2019, would like to fight at least 3 times, and on social media has targeted defending his title against Anthony Smith, Corey Anderson, and of course the big fish out there is, could he lure Daniel Cormier back down from heavyweight to light heavyweight for us to see the trilogy fight between the 2 of them. Daniel Cormier still looks most likely lined up with Brock Lesnar for his next fight, but nothing until it is announced is official. John Jones, though, back in the winner's column. And even though he did not look like the peak level John Jones, this was a year and a half away, and this was a much better return than the form of John Jones that we saw against Ovin St. Preux that was much under the same circumstances of coming back. We also closed out the year with another event. It was up in New York City, the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden, PFL 11, the championships, 6 weight classes, 6 championship fights, 6 $1 million winners. The highlight of the night was a 33-second knockout in the first fight of the night. Lewis Taylor knocking out Abus Nurmagomedov with a left hook to the temple. Huge victory for Taylor, the 39-year-old. Another great story was Sean O'Connell in the light heavyweight division. He's victorious. O'Connell had retired prior to the PFL season, was talked into coming out of retirement for the PFL, and actually on 3 separate occasions did commentary for the prelims and then fought on the main card. He, for $1 million, made Vinny Magalesh quit on the stool in between rounds 3 and 4, and then victorious with his check. O'Connell will now retire. Sean O'Connell, a huge victory. We have full PFL 11 results at cageminds.com. Not to mention there was a Ryzen event to close out the new year in Japan. Floyd Mayweather in 2 minutes knocks down Tenson 3 times. The exhibition fight ends quickly. We also had Goichi Yamauchi secure a guillotine choke of Darian Caldwell to pull off the surprising submission victory and become the first Ryzen Bantamweight champion. Now, I also said that we had some Cage Minds awards. Want to go through a couple of those real quick. In agreement with most of the rest of the world, general world in MMA, Daniel Cormier is the fighter of the year. He defended the light heavyweight title, wins the heavyweight title, defended that. I already mentioned that the female fighter of the year, Amanda Nunes. Now, for some local awards, I'd have to say that our New Mexico fighter of the year is Andres the Bullet Quintana. 5-0, winning the Copa Combate tournament. That one night, winning 3 fights, $100,000. Congratulations to Andres. As far as the female fighters go for New Mexico, the karate hottie Michelle Watterson, 2-0, 2 decision victories, fighter of the year. Boxing, Angelo Leo went out to Las Vegas. He went 4-0, beat competition that had a 75% winning percentage, fighter of the year. You saw it here on ProView Networks. Torres Cabral from Route to Glory 2 Bad Blood was the fight of the year in boxing. My event of the year was Route to Glory 1. So we had a ton of great boxing stuff. Full awards for 2018 Cage Minds Awards up at cageminds.com. Go look at those because we still got the amateurs of the year. You still have fight of the year, knockout of the year, a whole plethora of things, submissions of the year, all across the board. Go check those out. We also have at cageminds.com the complete card for LFA 58. And also for January 26th, Cold War 5 taking place at Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino. Fidel Maldonado Jr., the Atrisco Kid, in the main event, complete card at cageminds.com. Also, we have an article up for the 13-fight card that will see Angel Baby Pettis' next bout in Amarillo, Texas. Golden Eagle Promotions presenting Amarillo Ambush. That's also going to be January 26th. So a quick start to the combat sports year. January 26th. Also, don't forget Bellator, the heavyweight Grand Prix finals. Ryan Bader, Fedor Emelianenko, and not to mention January 19th, the UFC on ESPN deal does begin. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this week's show. Again, we're going to have much more as the weeks lead up to LFA 58 taking place at the Route 66 Casino. It's going to be a stacked card. Again, 7 New Mexico headliners, Harvey Park, Jaleel Willis, a great lightweight main event. I can't wait for the card. Next week, Red Menace TV should be back as it's regularly programmed with Michael Carlisle, Leroy Lucero, and more of yours truly. Thanks for tuning in this week, guys.